Hello everyone, I am Tessellating Hexagons, and yesterday, sometime in the afternoon, or, well, early evening, afternoon, it's hard to call, but I'm sure it was evening local time. Anyway, Armenia finally premiered their song for Eurovision, and they've been teasing us for several months with this, since we've known who's going to represent them for quite some time, just not any details about the song, for which they were holding an open selection. After a while, they did reveal that of the submissions they had received, they'd whittled it down to just two options, one of them being written by a fully Armenian team, and one being written by a Swedish team. When I heard that news, my heart sank. I felt so afraid that they'd pick the Swedish option, and it would turn out to be a Jason or Thomas Gerson song, and that it wouldn't reflect the singer's style or country or anything like that, and then it would be grossly overrated, and then I just wouldn't have a good time with it at all. But no, I was pleased to discover that AMPTV had selected the completely Armenian written offering instead. And what an offering it is, I must say so. It is with great pleasure that I can discuss Armenia's entry, Iveta Mukuchyan singing LoveWave, which, as far as I can tell, is in English. I'll address that in a moment, but officially it's in English, so no translation is necessary, although LoveWave is spelled as one word with a capital W in the middle, which almost makes it seem like a brand. And now I'm imagining like a little, in the arena in Stockholm, there's like a little gift shop in the corner where you can buy a little LoveWave trademark, and oh god, I made it sound like something, let's just say, some sort of bedroom implement, and leave it at that, shall we? Okay, so, sincerely, what are my initial thoughts about the song then? Well, it's very experimental, in a euphemistic sense. The song takes a while to get going, but even the build-up is bound to keep the audience's attention, so it's by no means a bad thing. Structurally, it reminds me more than a fair amount of Aram MP3's Not Alone from 2014, in that it has a fairly lengthy build-up, which then leads to a powerful and dramatic payoff in exchange for roughly a minute to maybe half of the song being taken up by that build-up. Which, as I said, isn't a bad thing because the build-up still holds your attention and it is still entertaining to watch and to listen to. I do like how there are still some traditional Armenian elements in the composition, which is typical of an Armenian entry, in a good way. So no matter the genre, you can always tell that, okay, this is definitely Armenia's Eurovision song for whichever year. I do think, though, that this song needs to be played loud to be fully enjoyed, and it's going to need pitch-perfect staging. I'm very much aware of the contradiction in terms of that expression, but it's going to need perfect staging to deliver its full impact. But I have faith that the Armenian delegation knows exactly what they're doing with this one. And so, people all over the world, join hands, let's start a love wave. What do you mean that's a completely different song? So what are the good points then? Well, this song hits like a brick with how dramatic and different it is, which means that, for better or for worse, it's gonna become a talking point amongst fans and casual viewers alike this year, which means that it's going to linger in people's minds and conversations for longer than the average song would. With its unique style, it's going to grab people's attention, and with how different it is, it's going to retain that attention, like I said, far longer than the average Eurovision song is expected to. Of course, the fact that the song features a memorable vocalized hook, as well as a catchy sub-hook on the traditional Armenian instruments, that really helps keep the song going round and around and around in your head. And on top of all this, I said before that it needs to be played loud and hard to give viewers the full enjoyment. Don't. Well, Iveta, being another The Voice graduate, has a powerful voice, and so, judging by her track record and the music video, at the very least, she's going to give it everything she has, and then some in Stockholm, and all very much to the song's benefit. As long as her staging can back her up, this song is bound to go far. And I'm really pleased to hear that, because I didn't know what to expect from Armenia, and now they've delivered, and they have delivered hardcore, so jolly good show there. Wow, that was incredibly British of me. But yes, the point is, she's got a powerful voice, the song requires a powerful voice, she can deliver, I have faith that she will deliver, so, in short, this song is nothing short of a spectacle. But, even spectacles can have bad points, which makes it sound like I'm talking about poor quality glasses. You know what I mean? Now, the first thing that jumps out about this song when you listen to it is the fact that it starts with a talking segment, which I'm not a huge fan of in music, but if she can make it work, then I'm sure it will have a huge payoff, much like the rest of the song in a nutshell. But it still has that slight stigma to overcome in so doing, because it might be done well, but it's still talking in a musical number. And so, She has to deliver it really well in order to convince me, but I feel like she can do that. Now, given that the talking segment flows directly into the lines that she sings, I doubt it's just a music video thing, and so they're probably not going to get rid of it. It's probably part of the full song. You know, if you're to buy it on iTunes or whatever, then it'll be part of that song, and so that means it's going to be part of the live staging, and I trust that she'll nail it on the night, so no need to worry there. Another thing that sticks out a fair bit is that once she really lets loose and starts singing, so not the opening verse, essentially, with the exception of a few lines here and there, so lines like, you know, you're like a love wave. Apart from that, it is really difficult to understand what she's singing in some places. It does sound like English, but just English that I can't understand, rather than Armenian. And Wikipedia seems convinced that the song's 100% in English, so it's probably just my ears. Perhaps it'll just come to me the more I listen to it. Finally, I know that some people might find the music video incredibly disturbing because of its depiction of various microscopic fluids and that sort of thing, and some people are a bit squeamish around that stuff, and so, while it does help the song's distinct visual style, it might still put some people off. So if that translates to the stage performance, it could quite easily, well, as I said, put people off the song because of what it depicts. And on the subject of staging as well, it would be very difficult to properly choreograph this one, because it's got a lot of little nuances that need punctuating in just the right way, and her just standing there in the middle of the stage without much going on around her, that won't be enough, because this song, it is still good without any visuals, but it loses a fair amount of impact without its striking visual style to back it up. So, my rating out of 10... I'm horribly torn. I was originally going to give this one a 9, and I do still kind of want to, because I listen to it, and I watch the video, and I think, yeah, but this is kind of weird in places. But the more I listen to this one, with or without the video, the more I love it. And so I'll tentatively give it a score of 10 out of 10, because the visual style, whether I find it disturbing or not, still backs up the song, and it's overall quite an impressive package on the whole. So on the condition that the live performance delivers as much as the song needs to properly hit home, I think it's probably earned that perfect score. As I said, the song without its visuals does still stand up, and it is vocally impressive and stylistically enjoyable, but as a Eurovision entry, it does still need those powerful visuals to properly sell it. So be it in the music video or on the live staging, it really needs that kind of backup to make it properly hit home and properly stick in people's minds. As I said, I trust that Iveta and her team will be able to make that happen, so I think the score of 10 is completely justified, but we'll find out once and for all once May rolls around. Now, how does it stack up to last year's song? Well, while I do appreciate the concept behind Face the Shadow, it did strike me as a bit too much of a mishmash between the 6 singers' different styles, to such an extent that it never really developed a coherent identity for itself as a single entity. In short, it was nothing more than the sum of its parts, and as I said at the time, it felt more like it was a song for a supergroup first, a song with a message second, and then an actual competitive song third. Conversely, LoveWave is better, stranger, and stronger. It has a powerful and unique identity, and with the right delivery, it's bound to turn a lot of heads and impress a lot of people, and it'll probably give a fair few small children nightmares for weeks. Did I say that was a bad thing? Now, will it qualify? Assuming they nail the staging, I would say absolutely without a doubt, even with Azerbaijan voting in the same semi-final as them, since Armenia and Azerbaijan do have a little bit of a history with not really wanting to share points with one another for reasons I'd rather not go into, because it's not my area of expertise, and it's kind of none of my business, and I don't want to offend anyone. Even if the song has weak staging, I do still think that Iveta's voice and style will be enough to convince the juries to give it a lot of points, and it'll probably impress enough of the public as well, albeit not as much if the staging doesn't back up the rest of the song. The only drawback to all this is, being as powerful of a song as it is, it'll stand out enough that SVT will probably think that it's justified to stick it anywhere in the running order, either at the very beginning if it's drawn to be in the first half, say in the final for instance, or at the very end if it's drawn to be in the second half. So, in short, I think SVT will think they can get away with giving this song a comparatively crappy running order draw. So, that, even more so in the final than in the semis as well, come to think of it. Assuming it qualifies, but it probably will. That said, ArabMP3 did have to face that same shadow, wink wink, in 2014, opening the first semi-final as he did, but it didn't damage his chances at all, and he ended up qualifying and then finishing 4th in the final. So I think, coupled with Iveta's powerful voice and the song's striking visual style and Armenia's habit of almost never failing to qualify, the fact that ArabMP3 managed to do so well, even with comparatively poor running order draws, I think this one has some very strong chances indeed. So, I will say, good luck to you, Armenia, because you got a very strong offering this year. You got the complete package. Powerful voice, powerful song, disturbingly brilliant visuals. If you can tie it all together on the night, then we're going to be seeing you in the very top end of the scoreboard. I can almost guarantee it. See you in Sweden.